If I gave you my love, I tell you what I do. I'd expect a whole lot of love out of you. You got to treat me good, and I'll be good to you. There's a whole lot of things you and I could do, baby.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Intellectual Radio, Voices of Change. My name is Jan, and I'm privileged to be your host this evening. That smooth song was by Chicago's own Dante Hall. And I have a special guest this evening. He has a lot that he wants to share, so I'm not going to, hold off. I'm going to let him tell a little bit about himself. But his name is Khalid Scott, and this is Relationship Sunday. So we're going to discuss relationships, including the recent, and I don't know if we're going to agree on this one, Keke Palmer's story with all the implications. And I'm going to also discuss a podcaster, Nikishi, and she advocates cheating back, a concept called cheating back. And we're going to talk about that briefly. The scripture for today is from Matthew 11:28, and it says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And I think that's a good segue to bring my special guest in. Again, I want everybody who's on right now to say hello and comment, and help me welcome the doctor, Khalid Scott. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you, Khalid?
I'm doing quite well, sis. I'm doing quite well.
Good. You're looking quite well too. You're still trim, in spite of when I look at Facebook and your profile and all your posts. You're eating every day. You're going out. I kind of get it how you can lose weight, but how can you lose weight and go out and eat every weekend? We're gonna have to talk about that one.
Absolutely.
I want to read a few comments. I see that we have Indy in the house. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Makiba. And Dr. Scott, Relationship Sunday. Romaine, hey. It's always good to hear from everyone. We're going to let Khalid tell us just a little bit about himself. I didn't want to read a long bio because his bio is so extensive. So I want you to just, highlight some of the awards that I've been hearing about you getting around the city.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I've won 2 back-to-back Father of the Year awards, because you already know this is the joy of my life, right? Boom.
And who is that? She looks eerily familiar. She looks like you.
This is my daughter, Anaya.
Anaya.
Soon to be 21-year-old next month. Janice,
wow.
Where did time go?
That's right. She is one of those powerful Leo women.
That's right.
All right.
Janice, she's getting ready to take the MCAT in January.
And she knows what school she's going to, right?
Well, she wants to go to University of Chicago.
And isn't she there now doing something?
Yes, she's a medical intern there now.
In what field specifically?
She wants to be a neurosurgeon.
Well, did y'all hear that? Oh my!
Absolutely.
I remember. I've been knowing you about. Oh God, I don't even know how many years. But she was a kid.
Yes.
She was a kid, and this dream and this hope of being a doctor was planted in her then, early on.
Right.
Look now.
Yes. Absolutely.
I saw her with a white coat on and a stethoscope around her neck. What is this little girl doing?
Right. Absolutely. And that's why this topic today about Fatherhood 101 is very important. because this just didn't happen on accident. You know, my background, Janice, you know, I am fatherless. I did not grow up with a dad in my house for one day. I did grow up with a married man who came to my home for 16 years. And you know what? When I do a hindsight, he was my father figure, you know, a different type of father, but he took care of me and he took care of my mom. So I extracted the good parts of Mr. Lee from that. Whereas you take care of the people you love, you know, you provide, you protect. And so I did get that, you know, and along with James Evans Sr. and Heathcliff Huxtable,
Oh yeah, TV
kind of
dad.
rounded me off, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
James told me to be the protector, you know, be no nonsense, while Heathcliff Huxtable told me sit down and talk things out, you know? So when you put all that together, voila, I have 5 Father of the Year awards, you know?
Wow.
So I guess I'm doing something a little bit right. And I
Not
think I know
only
a little bit of what I'm talking about.
not only getting those awards, but I mean, you know, following you and following how you reared your daughter and the type of young lady she is, and now she's going to go and to be a neurosurgeon, and just seeing all this come to fruition is just unbelievable. And that I'm not saying that's not, you know, it always part of the mother and the father, but I know you had a whole lot to do with that.
Right. I'm a divorced man. I've been divorced since she was 10 years old. So
Mm.
I had to learn a lot on my own. And I decided not to do what I saw typically men do. They divorce their wives and they divorce the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm weekend dads. No, I'm not a weekend dad. I'm still an everyday dad.
Wow.
The 2 weeks out the month she wasn't here, we FaceTimed every night, you know, because I know what it means to have an absent dad, and I did not want to send my child through that.
Okay.
So I became that participatory dad. Plus, look what I do for a living. I'm a social worker, right?
Yeah.
I'm out here in the streets saving everybody else's kids. You better believe I'm gonna start with mine.
That's a wonderful story.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I wanted to start off with your analysis of the Kiki Palmer, because I don't know, I've heard so many different perceptions of it, and so many looking through so many different lenses, generational, I don't know, gender wise. Tell me your take on that.
Okay. All right. Well, let me start differently. Can you give me what your perspective is first, if you
I
don't
mean,
mind?
my perspective is that now, you know, some of this may be filtered into fact and some of it may be hearsay, because I'm reading so many blogs and so many things about it. But Kiki Palmer apparently went to Vegas to see Usher, and apparently her live-in boyfriend, and I think that he's a live-in, her boyfriend saw what she had on and she left. She had on something similar to, you know, what a lot of the young girls are wearing today. It was a sheer bodice over something that looks like a leotard. And because it was sheer, you know, all her legs and her hips and her cheeks were showing. Fast forward to the concert, Usher pulls her on stage. He pulls her on stage, so you know she dances with him. She probably knew Usher from wherever, and they're having a good time, you know, flirting around a little bit. He gets on social media, I think it was Twitter, and he said something to the effect that she's a mom now and she shouldn't be presenting herself that way. So I've heard different kind of attitudes toward it, where people thought, well, you know, if that's his woman and that's how he feels, he should say it. Um, a lot of people felt like she's her own kind of woman. She should wear what she wants. I guess the irony is, in my opinion, he saw her when he left. I think the jealousy was a little bit amped up because she was flirting with Usher. You know, Usher's a cute, hot man, and she was flirting with him and publicly. I think you captured it well, because I think that's a dialogue that should be kept between the two of them. He should, when she got home, he could have said, you know, look, I know I saw you in it, but I think you were doing too much. You know, just him and her talking instead of going on social media. But then he is a young guy. He's probably a little bit hot headed. And when he saw her and Usher, he could have just, you know, let me just hurry up and put this out there, because that's what they do. The social media.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what they do. So that's kind of a synopsis of how I viewed it and how I saw it.
Okay. So is there a villain and a victim to this, in your opinion?
Um, in my opinion, I would probably say no. I'm not going to get into the narrative about he's not doing anything, he's not adding anything, he's not
There you
old,
go.
he don't have all this, he don't have all that. I'm not going to get into that narrative.
Absolutely.
The main thing that I saw the problem with was him not, because he saw her leave. Now it'd be different, you know, if he was displeased with and thought that's a little bit too much. Don't even wear that. But he saw her leave with her girls. So he saw what she had on. The problem that I had was when he publicly put that
Yes.
on Twitter. But that's how young people communicate. And in that moment, that's probably just that's what I'm imagining he did. I don't know.
Got you. Okay. Good perspective. Okay. And you know, I learned as a clinician early on, validate where people are at and where their understanding is at.
Mm-hmm.
If you go against it, right, people will fight you instead of trying to be open-minded to hear a different perspective, right?
Sure. Sure.
And so when it happened, I came, you know, I saw all the rhetoric going on and all the discourse. And here's another scenario where black men and black women fight each other, right? And it was like, God, enough is enough. So let me just throw my old man wisdom out because I'm a parent and I'm also a mentor of over 20 young black men, right? And so my wisdom that I had jotted down was number one, only address this with your mate. So he should have only addressed this with Kiki 101, where we wouldn't have been in viewership of it. Number two, hire me as your counselor, meaning if it's this bad, because it started before the dress, something else has been happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
That dress was the straw that broke that camel's back. Number three, marry her, sir. Marry her, right? After the counseling to address your issues.
Okay, I was gonna say I would advise you to jump up and get married, but
Right,
after they
absolutely.
resolve your issues. Okay.
And then fourth and most importantly, add God to your relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
Add God to your relationships. So let me give my perspective. First and foremost, he did not handle this as a man should. Meaning,
how old is he? I'm just curious.
I believe they say he's about 29, 30 years old.
Oh, he is 30. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm concerned that I wonder who is his village of men are, right? Because when you have a village of men, right, hopefully they've imparted some stuff on you that you would have understood. Let me sit on this. Let me not have an emotional response to this, but let me go into my man logic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then also, by me addressing this with her, right, that she really can hear my heart. Because with posts, you can't hear my heart.
Mm-mm.
Remember, anything you text message, email, post, is one-dimensional.
That's true.
You only see the surface part of it. You don't see the deep dive within meat and potatoes of something. You only get the surface part. So absolutely he did wrong. But what I'm really disappointed is us as a community picking sides. He's the villain, she's the victim, or she's the villain and he's the victim.
Yeah, I've heard both.
Right. What it should be is this is two young people who are having a moment like we all have in relationships. Let us, if we really care about them, let us circle them and like, young people, go and get some counseling.
Right.
Go and see your pastor. Go and talk to your parents. Go and talk to people who you trust in your village to give you some wisdom. Vent this out, but do it amongst yourself. But see, this relationship was already plagued when she made the announcement on Saturday Night Live that she was pregnant. Because I remember posting that and people all down my timeline, Another single mama. See, why do we praise single motherhood? So they already got people coming at you. So that should have been in back of Darius and Kiki's mind, that people are waiting for us to lose.
Yep.
They already waiting for us to lose, because then you're going to get the I told you so. I told you so. Right? So they was waiting. And now they gave us the ammunition. All the naysayers out there, you gave them ammunition. So if Darius, the young man in question, was my mentee, my son, my nephew, my cousin, whatever capacity that he would be in with me, it would be, man, come on over here. Let's get some Harold's and some Pepsi. Your treat.
There you go again with the food.
Absolutely. Because food make us feel good, right? Sit down and let's talk. Tell me how you felt about seeing the mother of your 4-month-old child gyrating next to Usher Raymond. Well, coach, da. Got you. Here it is. You're being called the new Stadman, and she's the new Oprah. So you've already been emasculated on the media. People have already put you down because you're not as famous as
I'm not even getting it. Yeah, I've been hearing that.
Right. So you already at a deficit. Then you see her gyrating with a man who has a horrible reputation, who was just in the public eye a couple of years ago talking about how he had herpes.
Yeah, he's a garden tool. I mean, but he's, yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
And then I would have told him, well, Darius, Usher is doing his job. He's a sexy soul singer.
Right.
And what you may not know, Darius, if you haven't paid attention, he always brings a woman up from the stage.
That's what he does. He recognized her and said, come on up here, Kiki.
Come on up here. Now, as you brought up, Janice, hey, brother, was you in the house or was you at the hotel when she walked out with that dress? Because it should have been a conversation prior.
If he had a problem with the dress, yeah.
Right. Now, maybe he's in Hollywood because she's in Vegas. And maybe she was having a girls' trip. So he didn't know. I don't know. But no matter what, the conversation still should have been between you and your woman. Right? So, because what he said was on point. That, babe, you are a mother now. I'm a dad now. The things we could have did as single people without a child, we're supposed to be more mindful now.
Now, that's what I agreed with, and a lot of people didn't agree with it. But I did agree with that.
Correct.
You do conduct yourselves differently when you're at different stages in your life.
Absolutely.
So I did agree with that. But.
Absolutely. Like for me, I've been on this, I'm Keontae now. Now that I don't lost weight, now that I'm an empty nester, and now that my daughter is 21 years old, and I've made the commitment and the sacrifice, and I got her to adulthood, now I can be Keontae. But I don't done my job already.
Right, you're done. Right.
Anaya can never type in Khalid Scott and look at her daddy being dirty and nasty and trifling and whatever. She won't see it. So I get what he said. He just handled it differently than he should have. So I want to give him grace. And I want to give Kiki grace. I don't know what it means to have a baby that changes your body.
Right.
I'll never know. I can only see the result that she went from this bony little girl
to now a voluptuous
woman.
And she's happy. She's like, I'm proud,
Right. And so I don't know what if she's even maybe having some postpartum where I gotta feel sexy. I gotta feel sexy because I just had this baby. Right. And then the part is maybe they are going through some relationship stuff. And she was like, you know what? I'm about to do one of these. How you like me now?
That happens. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna be butt naked, gyrating on Usher. How you like me now? Because Who knows? She could have caught that he been texting another woman or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know my
Because we don't know.
theory, right?
Right. We don't know.
Right. We know my theory about men, don't we?
And now I'm inclined to so much agree, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Absolutely. What?
You're like everything I've been reading and this next lady who I'm going to talk about. Anyway, go ahead. Oh my God.
So my thing is, guys, instead of judging like we're so used to doing, instead of being so jumping on the toxic bandwagon, let's show these two young people grace. Let's pray for them. Let's send positive vibes towards them. Because I want them to work, because I don't want another kid like what my kid had to go through.
Without the father there. I agree.
Being from a broken family. You know what I'm saying? I hope this catapults them to say, let's get our stuff together, let's get in counseling, and let me make you my wife.
And you volunteered that, right? You volunteered.
Absolutely.
That's smart.
Absolutely. Fly to Chicago. I'll pick you up at O'Hare. We'll go to Gibson's because you can afford me a little steak.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And we'll do a session. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's give them grace. Let's give them, because look what's being role model to our men and women now. Look what's being role model. Look at Beyonce, 40-something years old with 3 kids, but we can see her booty cheeks.
She booty shaking, and she's at the top of her game. She don't even have to do that.
You don't have to do it. This is what's out here in the world.
Yeah.
Whatever. We don't talk about Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? So we got to change our mindsets. And that's the perspective I wanted to start off with in talking about fatherhood 101. But before we get there, do you want to discuss the video that you have sent me?
Did you look at it with
Yes.
Kishi? Oh gosh. You know, and the backdrop is I wanted to say one more thing. Because you mentioned about if he had a village of men to talk to him and kind of mentor him. I think for the most part, most young men and even middle-aged and older men may not have that village.
No.
You know what I mean? They don't have the people to go to mentor them, to talk to them, to work them through these issues. I don't think most of them have it.
Right.
But as a backdrop, me and Khalid has been fighting for 10 years or more, talking about this issue about all men cheat. Okay. And maybe because I've been watching so much Tubi and so much garbage TV.
Love it.
Hey, the Tubi, the garbage TV, the Facebook, what is it? Watch those little short movies. Oh my God. And just having my ear to the ground and hearing what everyone's going through. And I'm kind of more inclined to believe now, again, every man don't cheat with everybody who they're with. Right. But I would kind of almost agree with that. So I forwarded Khalid, I forwarded him a podcast of this very, 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 very popular podcaster in Nigeria that's making so many waves. Everyone knows if you've ever watched it. Now, I don't know how true it is about, a Nigerian men and them. A lot of them have a lot of resources. Not all of them, but some of them have a lot of resources. So, even men here, men everywhere with resources tend to be more creative when it comes to having mistresses. Men here that don't have any resources have mistresses. So this lady is talking about how women can fight back. Tell me what you thought about it.
I think the intent was like, we got to stop sweeping this under the rug. We got to stop wishing and praying and hoping and dreaming and thinking.
She talked about the praying. Yeah, she said
right, that it's going to stop. No, men have the opportunity and they utilize every opportunity they get. You can you can have a Beyonce's body, a Janet Jackson face, Oprah Winfrey's money.
It got to be Janet Jackson, didn't it?
Absolutely, baby.
For those who don't know, Janet Jackson is Khalid's what?
My wife.
Okay.
My wife.
I didn't want to say it.
Wife.
That's Khalid's wife.
Yeah, but you can have everything. You can check off a man's checkbox list and check every box, and he'll still go in these streets because why? Somebody is waiting for him to get in their bed.
And he can.
And he can.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
he'll blame you.
I think the interesting thing, I mean, because some of the things she said were true. She basically said that the social structure, and that's not just in Nigeria, it's everywhere. The
Right.
social structure supports women being doormats, and religion supports men exploiting women by suggesting that we pray and fast to bring them home or to make them whole or to make them so they won't cheat again. So to that end, she was right. But what she was focusing on was, okay, if he does that and he messes around on you, because women are going to always be prettier. They're going to be more pretty women, more sexy women, more smart women. He's going to have just a pool to pick from. So when he does that, she's advocating to cheat back. She's telling these women to cheat back. And she said, the thing about a Nigerian men, like most men, they're very proud. And if they find that a woman cheats on them, first thing they're going to tell them, okay, you're going to be homeless because I'm putting you out. So her whole perspective is, well, first of all, typically they can't put you out because typically it's 50-50. But if it is a situation like that, she literally have tactics for them to work to do things. Because she said, if you don't have your own money, if you don't have your own resources, and you find out that he cheats, then you need to calm down and save and make a plan and be strategic. Or you should keep your affair discreet, because if he has the upper hand and resources and you don't have any, then you don't want to get caught, because then he will do that, because a lot of people are very vindictive. I thought it was interesting that she said the 3 possibilities with the cheat back. Whenever you do something, there's an action, there's a reaction. Every time you do something.
Yes.
She said, for those people who cheat back, she said, after it's found out, because she believes that if a woman has resources and have her own, and if she's being dogged, and if she cheats back, she's not going to hide it. She's going to put it right in his face. So when he confronts her, she said, okay, we got 3 things that may happen. We may decide to have an open marriage if that's what you want to do. They may decide to separate or divorce, or they may decide at that point to work on their marriage. I thought it was interesting. I didn't think it was good advice, obviously, because I don't think 2 wrongs make a right. And I don't think telling me or telling a woman to cheat back to change who I am and to lower my moral code because of who you are, I think that's a wrong thing. I would have more appreciated a woman telling another woman or telling a group of women in a podcast strategically, if you find out that your man is cheating, then start taking strategic steps as far as getting your finances together, finding out about who owns the resources, finding out what will happen if the marriage is dissolved. You have to protect you and your children. If possible, getting that bag a little bit fatter. I would appreciate saying that than telling someone to go out there and do what they're doing, unless that's what they wanted to do all the time. But this girl is making so many waves. Oh my God. She's like one of the most popular, one of the most popular podcasters right now there, because it's almost like, what's the guy name that died? Samuels.
Kevin Samuels and Derek Jackson.
And Derek is back. You know that, right?
Yes.
How in the heck? Who gonna listen to this fool?
They listening.
Derek is back.
They're listening.
I saw him when I was doing my Facebook watch. I gotta start reading more books.
Now, but you know what? He's coming to the angle. I messed up. So now I'm a living witness of messing up, but asking for retribution.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, because he knows how much money he lost. Come on. He don't give a dang.
But they tuning in.
They are. He's back.
But Janice, this tells you how toxic we are.
When you say we are.
As audience members, we're toxic.
I agree.
Janice, what's the #1 black show on TV showing a good black family? Tell me right now.
Showing a good black family?
You're taking too long, Janice. What's a good show on TV right now showing a good and positive black family? With a black dad, black mom, black kids. Come on.
I'm missing it, or it's what is it?
Now they got a reboot of the Wonder Years. It's great, but do you see how it didn't automatically come to your mind?
Blackish isn't on anymore,
right? But you understand, though, we can name off a bunch of shows that shows our dysfunction, right?
Oh God, yes. Like as soon as I get off here, I'm gonna watch one of them.
Got you. I love Tubi because you know what? As a clinician, I like to escape.
Yes.
And as I'm watching those Tubi movies, Black cinema, it's like, wow. And I used to dissect them. I said, stop it, Khalid. Yeah. This is pure entertainment. Laugh, eat a snack, and be quiet.
Because I'm really hoping and praying that's not reality.
If you read the tagline to a lot of those movies, based on a true story. Based on it, and then a lot of them are in Detroit. So a lot are in Detroit. Filmmakers are making money now because like the number one show is about this woman going through domestic violence with her child's dad. Number one show on Tubi right now, and it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
I think I watched that one. It kept me. I mean, I watched it till like 1 a.m. I normally fall asleep. It was good.
And you saw what happened in the end.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I won't tell anybody, but
absolutely. So we're used to toxicity. And my thing is, let's start changing this narrative, right? And let's start with ourselves. Because if we don't allow toxicity, then maybe it will grow and maybe it will become contagious, right?
That's true.
So now, Janice, let's get to it. So just to wrap up with her, I do disagree with giving women advice about cheating, but she's smart enough to know it's going to be an audience to listen to this.
Yep.
And in her head, maybe she's been cheated on horribly. And her thing is, I want to empower other women. Because once you've got on the other side of your pain and you're healed, you want other people to heal.
Right.
But my thing is, when you're healed, you're supposed to heal healthy way.
Right.
Telling people to go out and cheat, that might cost them their life.
Literally. Look at the picture.
Literally. When I hear my friends tell me that they are cheating, I always tell them, you know you're doing wrong. You know you're doing wrong. Be able to deal with the consequences that come from it. And they'll say, you're right, Khalid, I got you. But right now, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah.
And I've learned a long time ago, you can't, when it comes to penis and poo nanny, those are two powerful things.
They're powerful, yeah.
They're powerful.
You're right.
Back up. Because people got to come to their own epiphany with it, right? So let's transition, please, if you don't mind.
What? Khalid, did everyone hear that, please? Did everyone? Boy, the table's turning and things are changing. Khalid wants to transition from talking about cheating. Khalid used to his whole, oh my gosh. Okay, let's transition. Let's go.
We were supposed to originally air a month ago, around Father's Day, but I had a wedding to go to.
How was the wedding?
It was fantastic.
Wow.
It was fantastic. I love seeing Black love in motion.
I do too.
I like taking my daughter to weddings so she can see Black people getting married. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this was supposed to be, hey, for Father's Day, because I really want us to focus in on fatherhood and the positive aspects. I have this thing that the day before Mother's Day, I go to Walgreens, and that card section is ramshacked. The Wizard of Oz tornado went through that card section because we love Mama. Mm-hmm. But to go to Walgreens the day before Father's Day, heck, go to Walgreens the morning of Father's Day, and how do you think that aisle looks?
That's pretty racked too.
Okay, Janice. Okay.
Are you saying there's a whole bunch of cards there because people don't
It's a whole bunch of cards there. This was the first Father's Day when me and my daughter we went to Ooh Wee restaurant.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was packed. It was packed. And I was so happy because on Mother's Day what restaurant.
Oh yeah, you can't get in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Luckily, me and my daughter went right after church, mm-hmm. right? And we went around 12 noonish. We had just beat the crowd. Wow. Because when we got ready to exit, it was packed. But I loved it. People were celebrating Dad's Day. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember being in Walgreens, seeing those cards that says "Happy Father's Day, Mom," and how I'm very disappointed in mahogany Hallmark cards for putting that out there,
Wait,
especially.
wait, 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 wait. Happy Father's Day, Mom.
Yes,
Oh, I didn't see those. Okay.
yes, yes. They still making them. They're still making them, and I get it, but it's still an insult. But you know what? I can't blame mahogany Hallmark for making their money or targeting in on that audience, because I grew up with just a mom, right? But I want to shift the blame on who? The daddies who give ammunition to this behavior. The daddies who didn't do what I did and be committed to your kid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But but that's enough of that, because we already know what some of the daddies not doing. I want to talk about the dads who are like me, who I've met, who are participatory,
That's what I'm
who
talking
on report card day are up at the schools picking up the report cards, who are at their daughter's recital or the son's little league game, cheering them on. I want to give Darius, Kiki Palmer's boyfriend, I want to give him praise for saying it out loud. Babe, we got to have a certain decorum because we're parents now, right? I want to say shout out to my mentees who are dads who said, Coach, thank you for being a good role model, because that's what I'm doing with my little boy or my little girl. There's so many. I want to praise your dad who raised 9 kids.
10.
10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I even want to praise my crazy granddaddy, you know, who had a wife and 4 kids and fathered 5 kids, but he still provided for my mom and my auntie and my 2 uncles.
Wow.
You know, I want to meet men where they're at. Right now in the private practice, I got mostly male clients. I got mostly men, and men are now calling me, Janice, saying,
Which is good.
yes, it is.
It's good.
Yes, it is. I want to praise my male friends who come over and sit in my love seat and cry and say, Khalid, I got to get this toxicity out because I don't want to lose my family. I want my daughter to look up to me. I want my son to be like me. I want my marriage to last. I want to celebrate my 30th anniversary happy. I want to focus in on this part, you know, because for me, Janice, fatherhood is literally my favorite holiday is Father's Day.
Wow.
It is more so than Christmas and Thanksgiving and whatever, because this was a holiday in the making.
Oh, yeah.
This is the holiday that's the underdog holiday that I call it. It's the underdog holiday. You know, us dads, we're so used to getting the bow tie or some garden tool or whatever for a present. You know what I'm saying? While mom gets everything, you know. This year, a pastor at a church that I did a mental health forum invited me to come and be the guest speaker at church. He gave up the pulpit to have me as a special guest to talk about fatherhood. And that church is in my community that I grew up with. So how powerful was it for me to be on this pulpit talking to dads and moms, talking about I grew up in this same neighborhood without a dad. But because I had a deficit, right? Because I'm deficit based.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a dad. I didn't have what you had, Janice. I didn't come home every night and see a dad there who brought a paycheck home, who made sure I was eating and being taken care of, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn fatherhood on the streets. And now I got 5 awards on my mantle, right? So I want women to hear. I want Black women to hear. A lot of us men are doing it.
Yeah.
Stop having blinders on when it comes to us. Stop choosing the Tariqs as your dads for your children. Get that boring guy, right? Who's a nerd, you know, but who's financially savvy, who goes to work every day and wants to bring the paycheck home with you. Pick men who are not toxic, because it ain't cute no more.
Are you saying that? Are you believing that for the most part women are picking toxic men?
You get to choose me, right? If you want me to be your man, right? You get
Yeah.
to say yes or no, right?
Hmm.
And if I show you the red flags that I'm toxic and you still choose me, then what would you call that?
I would call it that they pick them sometime, but I don't think if I were to think of the majority of times that
Yeah,
they.
and this what I'm not going to ever do with you anymore. I'm not going to do the pull and push. Sweetie, you know me. You know my heart.
Hmm.
I'm not saying women in blanket.
Not blanket, but majority. Is it majority or just a few?
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what I'm seeing professionally and personally is that we're choosing the wrong people. We're choosing the wrong people. If you date a man who has 5 kids with 4 women, what would make you different? What would make your child different? Right, Janice?
I think both men and women are picking the wrong people.
But I'm talking about this part first.
Okay.
And you got to trust and love me enough to know that what my narrative is, Janice, right?
I do. I know your narrative.
Right. So I got to hold women accountable, right? Because that baby's in your body.
Hmm.
That baby's in your body. If I run away from you, you got to take care of that baby. So what I'm saying is make the best choice. Make the best choice based on what you see me with.
Mm.
If it's between me and Tyreek, Janice, and you had to pick one of us to be your child's father, I hope you're going to pick the dude who has a proven record.
I think that's who most smart people would pick.
Correct. But then how many we know who don't, sweet
A
pea?
lot of them. Yeah. Yeah. A
That's
lot of
all
them
I'm
don't.
addressing. That's all I'm addressing. Right? And it's powerful because when I was working with DCFS kids, right?
Mhm.
Most of the kids came into DCFS care because of choices, right? That mom made. That mom made. Now, let me get on the men. Because Janice, is not that I'm a guy who talks about this and I'm not doing the work behind it. I have 27 male mentees.
Mhm.
Now, Janice, you tell me how many black men you know are mentoring young men without money connected or being part of an organization.
How many are mentoring black? Only the only ones I know are ones in an organization or in church.
So, but my question was very specific. How many men you know doing it on their own like me? And that number of, I got 27.
I don't know anybody with 27. I know men
Absolutely.
mentor a few. They mentor a few, but I don't know anybody that do 27. But maybe you're doing 27 because of your field of work.
No, I've
You're
been a
doing
mentor.
okay.
Right. I was a mentor before because I
Okay.
was mentored. Because I was mentored, right?
Hmm.
So what I'm saying is we got to make better choices. I want my daughter to find a good guy. So I'm going to be part of the solution. Part of my solution is let me snatch up these young guys and tell them, hey, this is the right thing to do. Right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to be like everybody else just sitting back gossiping about it. See?
And
I'm
not
in the
doing anything.
streets doing the work. But I need you all to snatch these girls up, Janice. I need y'all to snatch these young girls up who think being Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion is the thing to do. They need to see you, Janice, being a Christian woman who trying to do things the right way. That's who needs to be their role models. Because even if I get all the guys right, if the Cardi B's present themselves, what good? What good is it? I'm raising Anaya to be the next Michelle Obama. But if she doesn't meet Barack Jr., what good is it, Janice?
That's true.
So we got to do better. And we got to fight hard for this, like every other race does. Like every other race does, right? When, Janice, when you think of great fathers, do black men come to mind at first?
They come to my mind
Yes. Why? Tell me why.
because of the role models that I had
Yes.
as black fathers. Yeah.
Yes. But you know, if we was to ask the average person, when you think of great fathers, would black men be the first race that comes to mind? And if it's not, why is that? Why is that? Right? I want Anaya to praise, to tell people, I had a daddy. When y'all hear about these horrible negative things about black dads, man, it ain't my experience.
Mm-hmm.
But
And she will say that. She will say that.
And I remember, Janice, let me share this with you. When Anaya was in high school, she had a group of, friends. She said one day, Daddy, you know what connects me and all my friends together? I said, what is it? Y'all go to Kenwood, y'all black girls, y'all smart, because they were in the AP program.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Daddy, we're from broken homes.
Oh.
I was like, oh, wow.
Well, I mean.
Wow. Wow. She said, that's what connects us. All of us are from divorce, or the relationship didn't last. That stung. That stung. That stung. I want that narrative to change.
And I hope it does.
And I hope it does too. I hope it does too. And I think your point with me is, Khalid, don't just blame women, blame men. I do, Janice, but I just don't talk about it. I'm doing it. You know, every time you hear from me, you hear me saying I'm meeting with my male friends.
Yep. And I see you meet. I see it.
Yes. I posted pictures of me hugging them. Like,
mm-hmm.
But you better believe when they was in my house for those 3 hours, get back home to your wife. So I ain't just talking about it. I'm about it. But how many men do what I do? How many men hold their friends accountable? Like, man, don't cheat on my sister-in-law like that. You dirty.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how many do that. I don't know.
Right. Most men be like, man, that ain't my situation. That ain't
or they encourage him to go get him a little. I mean, you hear all kinds of,
Absolutely. When daddies show up, kids show out. The good part. I remember going up to Kenwood on report card day and all those dads up in that auditorium, and those kids sat up.
Mm-hmm. Chest out. Daddy here.
Compared to when I went up there when it was mostly mamas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mama, she don't know what she talking about.
Yeah.
That teacher don't like me. When daddy in there,
they ain't gonna know.
What happened? Why'd you get a C?
That's true.
I didn't do my homework. What you mean you ain't do your homework? You gonna do it now, right? Yes.
That's true.
It's something powerful when daddy is in the room. Tell a man to go to a park with his kid, his young kid, and watch how the other little children will surround that man.
They do. I've seen it. It's like, who are you to buy a Piper? No, but the kids are
yes, man.
I do. I've seen that.
Absolutely. Because we crave it. We crave male attention, especially if we don't have it in our house. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying we got to start doing stuff in order. And the men who are doing it, they got to have it. In that ceremony that I was at with one of the awards, it was me and other men the person gave us Father of the Year awards.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we had so much pride. We were dressed up. We had big smiles on our faces. And you could see we were teary-eyed because somebody was giving us praise for doing what we supposed to do. But man, it just felt good.
They were acknowledging you.
Pat us on the back. Because mothers get it all the time. Mothers get it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, I want this to be the new disease. I want positive Black fatherhood to be a disease that's contagious, right?
Yeah.
And then it ain't no cure from. Right? That man, once you get stricken with this fatherhood disease,
But it just, yeah.
it just stays with you. It just stays with you. Because our kids need it. Janice, we in a difficult space in this world. Affirmative action got taken away. Abortion rights getting taken away. They even had that situation where the woman didn't want to bake a cake for a gay couple.
Yeah, that was a fake thing, and the whole thing was fake. And they shouldn't have even taken that to the Supreme Court. But that's a whole nother.
It was fake.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So but they wanted that case, and they wanted to take it there. You know what I mean?
Got you. But the remnants of it was, if she can deny them.
Yeah. What's a precedent? What can they do next?
So
because think about it.
As a married couple, and we want a anniversary cake.
Yeah.
I don't want to bake for a Black couple, right?
Or if I want to get a venue for whatever reason, well, Blacks fight all the time. I don't. You know what? I'm just saying. Right. What is that setting a precedent? And now it's going to always be 6-3 in the Supreme Court. That concerns me. These old folks are in for life.
Absolutely. And they're the healthiest people, aren't they? It's like they stay until they're 99 years old.
It's like, what the heck? Yeah.
Wow.
That was planned and done strategically. And
absolutely. Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. So, Janice, we can't afford to be halfway. We can't afford shortcuts no more. Because Johnny, they're gonna be telling us to go back to Savannah and pick cotton in a couple of days.
They're gonna take your right to vote and everything. Okay, I'm not gonna speak that. I'm not gonna speak those things. Anyway, I don't know what they're gonna do next. Right. But I've never seen the high court do 3 different cases in a weekend. They've been moving. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
Right. And so the thing is, addressing these issues, right? Addressing these issues, and me holding men accountable, you holding women accountable, because it takes two. I told you before, when I do sessions, married sessions, I talk with both the husband and the wife prior to the first session, because I want to hear their commitment. And they tell them in the first session, we are not going to play villain and victim, because once you take ownership of those roles, you stick with them. So the husband's always going to be the villain, and the wife is always going to be the victim, right? Mm-hmm. And so it sets a precedent that I can't break. Why not say both of you are superheroes who just had a bad day in Gotham? Because it gives them equal playing field.
Right. So they come in there equal at an equal level.
Correct. So even though, I remember one of the wives was like, Miss Dr. Scott, my husband slept with 7 women on me. How is it my fault? Ma'am, when he slept with the first one, you could have took him down to the Daily Center and ended this.
Yeah. Yeah.
7 women later.
Then he slept with the second one. And you said, okay, isn't this a trend? First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. And now 7. Yeah, well. But, it happens. And that's something that's very common.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. How are we looking on time?
We good.
Okay.
Not really. We only got 5 more minutes, but whatever.
Oh, wow.
We're good. Forget that time. Wow. We're good.
And 2, I want people to see even our interaction. So for a moment, I was like, Janice, you being negative. But do you see, because I love you, invested in you, and you love me, invested, we turned it around?
Well, we fight all the time anyway. It's not
correct.
It's not unusual for me to get in,
Correct.
As long as a person fight respectfully, I don't care. I mean,
absolutely.
We're going to disagree.
Absolutely. And let me tell the men who are watching, I ain't never intimidated by no strong woman. Can't no woman ever come to me like Khalid was intimidated by me, because part of that is emasculating me if I say that out loud. I can have healthy conversations with a woman, and she will end up respecting me. Because if Janice didn't respect me, I wouldn't be on the show. I wouldn't be here.
True.
And my love and respect for her is make me, because I'm busy. I'm busy.
Oh, we know you're busy with your 5 awards and you're on a show every other day. Anyway, okay. Sorry.
See? Healthy banter. This is okay. And we'll still hug each other in the end. So we can get through stuff, but you got to be wanting to be committed to it.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm telling you, men out here, be committed to your children. Be committed. Be committed. When I got divorced, my ex-wife got rid of my last name. And the reality is none of my DNA is in Elisa. All of my DNA is in this one. So I'll never divorce her, ever. Have that type of mindset with your children. Have it.
I'm actually seeing it, to be perfectly honest, I'm actually seeing it more and more. Yes. Where men are so committed to their children, whatever happens to the relationship, and hopefully nothing happens, but if it does, they're so committed to their children. I'm seeing it more, younger men, middle-aged men. I'm seeing it more and more. I'm applauding these brothers.
Yes. So. They've done statistics now showing that Black men are the most committed fathers.
And the most active in the child's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we don't hear about those stats, right?
Well, that's because, like you said, we watch this toxic stuff. And if I wasn't Black and if I saw Black people on TV, how would you think about them? Think about it.
There you go. There you go. I took Anaya to South America at the beginning of June, right? Mm-hmm. And when we told people on the tour bus that we were from Chicago, I said, stop. Are there areas in Chicago that I wouldn't walk down the street on? Absolutely. But I'm from Chicago, and I'm a representative of Chicago, and I know mostly people who are like me.
Mm-hmm.
We're about our food and our fun.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's true.
And we don't go around hurting. But but there are a whole bunch of hurt people in my city. But there's a whole bunch of hurt people in other cities. It's just that Chicago is the focus city right now.
Right.
So we got to break stereotypes. We got to get rid of stigmas. And I'm here to tell you and reinforce Black fatherhood is the best thing going.
I agree.
Best thing going. Absolutely. And I'm proud to be one.
It's the best thing going on so many fronts, to curb violence, for school retention. I mean, you can just name a shopping cart of things that a father being in the lives of these children would change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And on that note, oh my God, we got a minute left. We are out of time, as you know. I really love talking about relationships, and I love how he took the fatherhood and spoke about fatherhood one-on-one and tied that into how a child's going to turn out and the relationship. You kind of tied it all together, which was really good.
Absolutely.
Hopefully next month we'll be on and there won't be any of these crazy stories to talk about. And Khalid can talk about relationships and talk about what he's done. Wait, I just thought about something. Khalid.
Yes.
You haven't gotten engaged or anything yet, have you?
I sure haven't, and I sure won't.
I guess he shut me up. But anywho, we're going to come back.
Starting mess.
No. You know, I'm a little bit messy. I'm on the radio. No. You got to be a little bit messy. Just joking. Everybody on the radio ain't messy. But I did kind of have to go there because he didn't talk about her. And now he all of a sudden don't want to talk about cheating. But okay. So maybe next month we'll talk about relationships and focus on Black men and Black women, because I am, in spite of seeing the increase in fathers being active in child's lives, I am seeing a somewhat of more of a split between Black women and Black men. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Like I
shared with you, I got 9 friends going through divorces.
Oh, 9? I thought it was 1.
9.
Are some of them newlyweds? Like they just got married, so they found out it didn't work?
Well, 2 of my mentees are going through, and they're in their 30s. Wow. So yeah. But the majority of my friends are in their 50s. Yeah. Yeah. The kids are grown, and now I guess it's about them. And that's not a bad thing when you have to understand that I deserve to have a good life.
Yeah.
I don't deserve misery. I don't deserve it. None of us do. None of us do. Yep. So, Janice, to be honest, I think a whole bunch of people are going to start prescribing to my new medication called Buddy with Benefits. I suspect that's going to.
Oh, you read my mind. Come on now.
We'll talk about that on the next episode.
Oh, we're going to talk about BB, Buddy with Benefits. I like that.
There you go. That's our topic for next month, Buddies with Benefits.
Okay, so everyone heard that. So tune in next month and tell a friend. Tune in here again next week to Intellectual Radio, Voices of Change. Always love having, argue and ask Khalid. Oops, did I say that? Love having Khalid. Love having Khalid here. Love having you here tuning in. It has been a pleasure and my honor. You guys all have a blessed week. Take care of yourself. Hopefully you'll be back next week and bring a friend. Take care.
Love you all.